Namaskar friends, I welcome you to the digital media of Uday India and in Bhartiyata ka Sankhanath today I want to speak how Himachal Pradesh temple front controversy is going on by Sukhu government's Coercion and Congress long history of targeting the temples. Friends, the Congress government in Himachal Pradesh led by Chief Minister Sukhu has recently sparked outrage by coercing the state-managed temples to contribute funds to the Sukhu Ashraya welfare scheme, and this move, unprecedented in the state's history, marks a significant departure from previous government's policies that had only sought temple contributions for natural disaster relief. The controversy surrounding this decision highlights not only the financial mismanagement of the Sukhu-led administration but also the Congress party's long-standing practice of targeting temples under the guise of governance while engaging in appeasement politics as it does always. Friends, Himachal Pradesh, like several other states in India, has numerous temples under government control, with their revenues being managed by the state. Traditionally, these temple funds have been utilized for temple maintenance, religious activities and welfare initiatives benefiting devotees. However, the current government's directive to divert these funds for routine welfare schemes sets a really dangerous precedent. A secretary in the Himachal Pradesh government has issued a letter to deputy commissioners instructing them to collect funds from the temple trusts and deposit them into the state treasury to finance the Sukhu Ashraya scheme. This has raised serious concern about the religious discrimination, as no similar directives have been issued to institutions of other faiths. It's a clear cut that they are targeting the Hindu temples, the Hindu temple funds. The selective targeting of temples indicates an undue interference in religious affairs, undermining the autonomy of Hindu religious institutions. The Sukhu Ashraya scheme, though framed as a welfare initiative, is emblematic of the financial distress that the Himachal Pradesh government finds itself in due to its excessive reliance on populist freebies. Since assuming office, the Sukhu administration has made grand promises of financial assistance to various sections of society without ensuring adequate revenue sources to fund them. The state, that is already burdened with a heavy debt, and rather than adopting prudent fiscal policies, the government is now resorting to coercion to sustain its welfare expenditures. The decision to extract money from temple is a glaring admission of the government's inability to manage its finances, forcing religious institutions to bear the brunt of the fiscal irresponsibility. And what makes this issue even more controversial is the broader pattern of the Congress party's approach to Hindu temples over the decades. The Congress has a long history of exerting control over Hindu religious institutions while ensuring that other religious spaces remain largely independent. Across India, numerous temple trusts have been taken over by the state governments controlled by the Congress, with their revenues often being redirected for non-religious purposes. In contrast, the party has stayed away from exercising similar authority over places of worship belonging to other communities. So this discriminatory approach stems from the Congress deeply entrenched politics of appeasement, where Hindu religious institutions are seen as easy targets for resource extraction, while efforts are made to woo minority communities with populist policies. The Himachal Pradesh government's latest move also raises questions about how constitutional propriety and rights of the temple devotees. Article 26 of the Indian Constitution guarantees religious institutions the right to manage their affairs without undue government interference. However, the persistent state control over temples and forcible diversion of their funds for unrelated government schemes violate this fundamental principle. Devotees contribute to temple donations with the expectation that their money will be used for religious and charitable activities within the Hindu community, not to fill the coffers of financially mismanaged government. Moreover, this incident highlights the larger problem of how state control over Hindu temples has led to their systematic exploitation. In contrast to Hindu temples, other religious institutions have been allowed to manage their finances independently, enjoying the autonomy that temples have been deprived of. The Congress approach to temples reflects not just an economic exploitation but also a deeper ideological bias, wherein Hindu religious institutions are treated as a revenue generating entities for state rather than as sacred spaces meant for spiritual and community well-being. The coercion of temple trusts to fund government schemes is a reminder of the perils of the unchecked state control over religious institutions. If this trend continues, it could lead to a dangerous erosion of religious freedoms, setting a precedent for future governments to exploit temple resources at will. The people of Himachal Pradesh, especially devotees, must question why their religious contributions are being used to fund populist schemes instead of being reinvested in the temple themselves. At a time when the state is struggling financially, the government should be looking for sustainable solutions rather than forcibly extracting funds from the religious institutions. The Congress party, both at the national and state levels, has long engaged in policies that discriminate against Hindu institutions while placating other communities for electoral gains. The Himachal Pradesh temple funds controversy is yet another of this trend, revealing not only the financial desperation of the Sukhu government but also the Congress' inherent bias against Hindu temples. If unchecked, such actions could further alienate the Hindu community and reinforce the perception that temples are being unfairly targeted to serve political and financial agendas. It is also imperative for the people and religious organizations to stand against such coercive policies and demand a fair and transparent governance model that respects the autonomy of religious institutions. That's all for today now. Stay tuned with Uday India and subscribe Uday India. Thank you.